Yo, what's going on YouTube? My name is David. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Today's video is going to be for pretty much anyone with a camera. Now, a lot of people don't actually have that much knowledge about memory cards. If you have a camera, you should definitely be watching this video because memory cards are super important when it comes to being able to back up your data, keeping your data safe, being able to keep up with your camera's reading and writing speeds. If you don't know what that means, this video is for you. Again, welcome to the channel, guys. For everybody that is new here, if you guys are returning, thank you for coming back. Today, memory cards is what we are going to be talking about because there are some stupid mistakes that I see a ton of people making in the past, and I'm like, this is a memory card issue. Like, when I pulled it out, it was just like, wow, I can't believe that you did this. I know that a lot of people do it because they just don't realize that it's the wrong thing to do. So today, let's talk about some stupid mistakes and kind of just give you the rundown of each and every type of memory card that a camera can use. So before we actually get into any of the different types of memory cards, I want to talk to you guys about something that they all share, specific specifications that they all share, like speed class and reading and writing speeds, and just go into the technical details of memory cards. And this is super important for a lot of people because I don't want you going out and spending $10 100 times because you thought that this card was okay to use, but then when you started using it, your camera couldn't even use it, you know? So let's talk about the memory cards and save you guys a ton of money here. So let's dive deeper into memory card speeds because there are a lot of different speeds and we need to talk about it. They start off with class 2, class 4, class 6, and class 10. Class 2 is going to be a 2 megabyte per second speed. That is really slow. That is absolutely terrifying, and you definitely should not buy this card if you see this on the card. Don't buy this one. This is terrible. It can't keep up with anything. You're definitely gonna have to end up shooting in like 720p, which is disgusting. Don't do that. This is what 720p looks like. If I were to downscale my video from whatever to this, absolutely not. And then class 4 is 4 megabytes per second, class 6 is 6 megabytes per second, and class 10 is 10 megabytes per second. Okay, easy. And then we also have your faster ultra high speed cards, which is going to be the class 1 ultra high speed card is going to add an extra 10 megabytes per second. And the class 3 is going to add an extra 30 megabytes per second. So if you have a class 3 card, it's going to be a lot faster. But then we get even more. We have the video speed classes now, which go from V6, V10, V3, V6, V10, V30, V60, and V90. So this is going to give you different speeds from 6 megabytes per second, 10 megabytes per second, 30 megabytes per second, 60 megabytes per second, and 90 megabytes per second. That is a lot of megabytes per second. That's a lot of numbers. Let me tell you what a megabyte per second is because some of you may not even know that. There is 1,000 megabytes in 1 gigabyte. 1 gigabyte is 1,000 megabytes, or what is it? 100,000 kilobytes? Pretty much when you're recording, your camera has a specific speed that it reads and writes at. So if you're recording, your storage could take possibly this many megabytes per second when you're recording in 1080, and then a lot higher when you're shooting in 4K. So your memory card needs to keep up with that camera to be able to keep all that data coming in all at once simultaneously and keep up with the camera so that it doesn't like stop recording. If you've ever noticed your camera just say, the camera has automatically stopped recording, that's probably because you don't have enough space or your memory card can't keep up with the writing speeds. So the memory card writing speeds are super important to know. Anyways, let's move on to the reading and writing speeds itself. So a reading speed is going to be kind of keeping the memory that's already on the card, being read into transferring to the camera. When you transfer your the reading speeds are going to be used when you're transferring your data from the memory card to the computer or when you're playing back on the camera. So the memory card has to be able to keep up to be able to play back that stuff and kind of transfer to and from things. While the writing speeds are what's super important to us, the writing speeds are going to be how fast the memory card can retain the data from the camera, bring it, and store it. That all has to be done in a matter of seconds. So the writing speeds are the most important part of your memory card. So you want to know what your camera's writing speeds are for specific resolutions, for specific things like raw images and how many it can take before it has to buffer, and correspond that with the memory card that you're using for your camera. So let's say that if I was shooting in 4K on my camera and that writing speed was 250 megabytes per second, my memory card would have to be at least 250 megabytes per second to be able to continuously record in that 4K quality, to be able to keep it up without it having automatically stopping every now and then, right? It makes sense. You have to have enough memory to be able to keep up with your camera. Simple as that. Now, if you don't know your camera's data rates, your reading and writing speeds, you can always Google it. I do it all the time. I always look up a camera's reading and writing speeds, like how fast does this camera read? How fast does this camera write? Because when I'm looking for a new camera, I need to know, can my memory cards keep up with this, or do I need a new one? I look it up and I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. Let's buy this camera. Or I just say, no, I can't afford this because I have to buy a ton of new storage. Knowing that is super important and saves you a ton of money, because you will know exactly what you need when you buy a specific camera, or what you can use. Because if you're gonna buy a camera specifically for that 4K capability and you buy it, you spend thousands of dollars on it, and then you get the camera and you can't even record it because you don't have enough memory writing speeds. Make sure you guys realize that before you buy a camera and waste all that money, and then you gotta wait another like 3 months of working to just buy a memory card, you know? Make sure you guys know that. Anyways, now that we've got those two things out of the way, let's go through the memory cards and talk about some issues that a lot of people have, and kind of just run through the memory cards and kind of talk about what they're about and what they do and how common they are, and their own specific reading and writing speeds specified by the type of memory card, because there are a few types of memory cards. You know, some you'll never see, some you'll never use, and some you are going to use. So let's start off with the most common ones. So the first one we have here is going to be the micro SD card. Now, a lot of people use this, and I really need to talk about this one, because this one is going to be super important to everybody that's vlogging, everybody who doesn't have that much knowledge about cameras. But you need to know that this is not meant for cameras. This is not meant for those bigger cameras like your vlogging cameras or anything. This is made for things like GoPros and drones and smaller tech, because when you are filming with this stuff, you need to leave that extra space for all the designated area for the smaller tech itself. So the memory card is smaller, it doesn't take up as much space, and then it has an adapter so that you can throw it into a card reader and be able to read and transfer data super easy. However, I have seen several people in my career use the adapter and the micro SD card, shove it in the camera, and use it as a primary SD card, which can work potentially if you're shooting in lower qualities and if your SD card can keep up with it, if it has nice fast rates. But the micro SD cards usually come in at rates of about like 20 megabytes per second to 100. If you have a 100 megabyte per second micro SD card, sure, it might work, but I don't recommend it. I definitely don't recommend it, because like I've had issues with people where they're like, yo, my camera's having this memory card issue, can you tell me what it is? So I open the memory card slot and I just see it like this, the micro SD card inside of the adapter. I'm like, you can't do this. You need to go buy an SD card. It doesn't work this way, because essentially what's happening is the micro SD card is writing and reading into the adapter, and then the adapter is writing and reading from the camera, which is going to cause it to be a ton slower if you really think about it, because it has to just go through so much more. It's like if you're trying to reach your friend on the other side of the street, but then you have to cross the street and there's like traffic, there's cars driving by, and there's people walking against you. You need to get by all those things before you can get to your friend, and it's going to be a lot slower to get to the other side than if there was nothing obstructing your way. It works kind of the same, but you know, everything in the memory card and transfer and data and online speed thing goes a lot faster. But yeah, I definitely don't recommend using an adapter and an SD card for something like a camera to film. It's not going to work out as well as just using a regular SD card. But micro SD cards are super good to have, especially if you have those smaller techs like 360 cameras, GoPros, drones, or anything like that. And they come in at starting about $5 and can range anywhere from there to up at about $100 to $120, depending on the card you get and how much storage and how well it does. Now let's move on to the most common memory card there is out there, the SD card, the regular standard SD card, which is the same size as the adapter of the micro SD card, but it's actually working and full and you can't take anything out of the bottom. But this is going to be the most common one, everything that you use for your monitors, for your cameras, for your audio recorders, for a ton of different things. The SD card is going to be the most common one, and there are so many of them. There is a huge variety of them, ranging from like $2 all the way to like $250 to $300. Now, these are probably the ones that you're gonna end up with and have so many of them. I have friends that have like 20 of them. I have like 6, you know, one for each camera, maybe 2 for each camera. What I was mentioning before about different camera speeds and different stuff, so this is going to be a really big, hold on, my camera battery is dying, hold on. Where was I? So this blue card here is a very basic, very bad, it doesn't even say the speed on it, but it is a class 4, so it's a 4 megabytes per second memory card, while I have this 250 megabytes per second card here. That difference is insane. Think about it. It's crazy already. The difference in that is absolutely insane. But this blue card probably can't even keep up with me shooting 1080. It buffers after I take 10 photos in RAW, and it's just absolutely not good. Definitely go for the higher card because it's gonna do so much for you. You can take so many more pictures before you have to buffer. I can take like 50 pictures on this memory card, the 250 megabytes per second card, without having any buffer at all. Buffer is kind of that time when it's like lagging, where it has to load up and, you know, give it time. Like when you're watching Netflix and then it just stops and you see the woo 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 woo, and yeah, that's buffer, and you don't want that because it's super annoying. Anyways, let's move on to the next card. Next, we're gonna have our CF cards. These are the cards that are in those bigger cameras, like the smaller cinema cameras, or even just the bigger DSLRs like the 1DX series or the 5D4. These cards are gonna be a bit faster than the SD cards, but not too much. This one I have here is at 160 megabytes per second, while my SD card actually runs faster than that. That's crazy. CF cards usually range from about 150, 160 to about 300 megabytes per second, because these are just going to be a little bit heftier and used in very specific situations like smaller cinema cameras to record that 1080 or that minimal 4K at 24 frames per second and whatnot. So those smaller codecs, but still keep up with the card, because the CF card is going to run a bit faster than a lot of different memory cards. CF cards are going to come in at about either $20 up to $300. So it actually runs about the same as the SD card, and I would kind of place them next to each other. It just kind of depends what camera you get and what medium they chose to use. So there's no real big difference except for the size. Next, we have our Cfast cards. These Cfast cards are going to be a substantial difference between the SDs and the CF cards. The Cfast cards are going to come in at about, 300 megabytes per second up to about 800 megabytes per second. I've seen them go up really far, and they work amazing. This is ideal for like 4K shooting, 6K shooting, or that minimal 8K shooting. This is gonna give you a lot more room to work with as far as writing and reading speeds to be able to keep up with your camera. And it says it in the name, Cfast. These cards are amazing. They come in at super expensive though. They start at 150 and can go up to about $650. So it's super expensive, but definitely worth it depending on what you're trying to shoot, because I cannot shoot 4K 60 with the CF card on my 1DX2. So right now I'm running on a Cfast card. So the Cfast card opens for a lot of potential in a lot of different shooting modes. And lastly, we have the newest addition to the memory card game. In my hand right here, we have a CFexpress card. This came in at a whopping $600, guys. $600. That is breaking the bank for a memory card. You know, I bought a 1DX3, I pre-ordered it, so I needed this because of the different capabilities, and plus the 1DX3 only takes CFexpress cards, but these cards are super duper fast. This is like insanely fast. So the writing speeds are 1400 megabytes per second. That's 1.4 gigabytes per second. I've seen these cards start at 1 gigabyte per second, which is like the bare minimum of the baseline, and that's crazy already to begin with. Like, wow, that is super fast. A gigabyte per second, that's as fast as my internet is, which is absolutely insane. And these cards are actually smaller than the Cfast and CF cards because for whatever reason, they wanted to compact it a little bit, but to be able to read that quick is absolutely insane. This is ideal for keeping up with the new day and age where everybody's shooting at 6K, everybody's shooting at 8K. These cards are definitely gonna keep up and stay here for a while because like I see cinema cameras being able to use this small card because if you look at a cinema camera, most of the time they have hefty cards like Reds, they have this huge brick of a memory card, and then Aris use Cfast and CF cards. So to be able to compact it into this small thing, and I've seen a ton of cameras like the C500 II using this, the 1DX3, a ton of new cameras are coming into the game using CFexpress cards. So can't wait to see how this comes out because I'm absolutely ready to start shooting with this and see, because I believe that it won't even buffer if I just kept shooting, because I'm pretty sure that Canon said that the 1DX3 wouldn't have to buffer for a good 1,000 shots when it's running on the CFexpress card. Now that is insane. Anyways, wow. These cards come in starting at $200 and I can possibly see it going up to at least 1,000 if you get a terabyte card. Now that is wild. I've seen it go up to 900 so far, but imagine what is in the future, you know? Absolutely insane. Anyways, this video's gotten on long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped you guys out and you learned a little bit something about memory cards. How about you go to your camera right now, grab your memory card, pull it out and tell me, how fast is your memory card? What class is your memory card, you know? Let's look for those logos. Tell me, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what else you guys want to know. If you guys have any questions, if you guys think I should make a specific video, let me know in the comments below. My name's David. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day, morning, night, and wherever you're watching from. I'll see you then. Peace. Boom. Yeah. Woo. All right. I gotta go. Bye.